Greetings, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Arlington Weekly News. I'm Craig Nolan. Thanks for joining us.
A very sick Nolan.
Well,
I'm Danielle Pineda.
I think it's just allergies, which is not a sickness. My name's Adele Quo.
And we're here to present you another edition of the Arlington Weekly News for somewhere around, well, it's not Flag Day yet, but
Almost,
or it's not the summer solstice, which is coming
Not
up.
quite yet.
So our post Memorial Day show.
Pre-July 4th?
Somewhere, pre-July 4th.
How about Father's Day? Not coming up?
Father's Day. Oh, that's very good.
Yeah,
Our
well,
pre-Father's Day
that.
show.
Gotta
Excellent.
remember your dads.
Pre-Father's Day show for 2018.
I love you, Dad.
Thanks for joining us, and we have our usual stuff here. News and Community Bulletin Board. Adele is here, as you have seen, with another
She's getting
installment.
ready for
She was just getting ready
What kind of prompt is
for
that?
another installment of
It's easy being green. That was pretty
She's been
good.
practicing all day for that one.
Yeah,
That's
we've
right.
all been practicing. We can always use more practice. CBB, as I mentioned, a roll-in, taking a look at what the Wearing Orange rally is all about, our News for Seniors segment, and then another roll-in from our styrofoam mom, Miriam Gennari, and her guest, and that's our show. But before we begin, social media reminder time.
Well, that's right, Mr. Nolan. You can watch the Arlington Weekly News on our very own YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Arlington Weekly News and the number 1. Also, facebook.com/Arlington Weekly News, and also on the radio.
And also on the radio, we provide the audio from the Arlington Weekly News on WERA 96.7 LPFM on your radio dial. Check us out. Well, here we go with the first of our news items. Arlington Independent Media suffered a power outage last Sunday morning, June 3rd. The outage interrupted both the television and radio broadcast and resulted in closure of the studio for the regular 10 a.m. opening time to shortly before 6 p.m. Sadly, a planned pre-recording of Perspectives of Interfaith had to be canceled. Power and all broadcast services have since been restored. So that's the good news. Daniel.
Well, Craig, police were called in Farrington after a complaint was received about excessive noise at an outdoor event. The event was a karaoke party held by parents in a condo parking lot in the 4200 block of 35th Street South on Friday, May the 25th. The police were dispatched at 9:40 p.m., but no citations were issued and no report was filed by the officers on the scene. Farrington's Facebook page received some angry comments later removed over the filing of the complaint. However, one Facebook commenter wrote, "Are there rules for noise at this hour?" An explanation of Arlington's noise ordinance code reveals that there are indeed rules.
And a little bit more on noise in Arlington now. Here are some pertinent excerpts from the county's noise control code, and we're quoting now. "It shall be unlawful for any person to use any radio, television, phonograph, record, compact disc, or tape player, drum, musical instrument, loudspeaker, sound amplifier, which produces, reproduces, or amplified sound in such a manner as to be heard within any dwelling unit, house, or apartment of another person at least 20 feet from the source of the sound." End quote. Permissible noise levels decrease after daytime. And here's another definition, and we're quoting now. Daytime means the local time of day between the hours of 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. on weekdays and between the hours of 10 a.m. and 9 p.m. on Saturday, Sunday, and legal holidays, end quote. Now that we know some of the rules, let's make sure that we all karaoke and music party responsibly. Daniel.
Well, that's right, Craig. And you can bring the sound to this next event. Make Music Day is an international event held every June 21st, and it's coming up in Clarendon. The live music starts at 11 a.m. and lasts until 9 p.m. The location will be at the Clarendon Central Park. That's located at 3140 Wilson Boulevard, right next to the Clarendon Metro Station. Arlington Independent Media will record portions of the event, but you'll want to show up to participate in all of the fun. And our own cameraman, Paul, will be there as well.
All right. Thank you, Daniel. We'll be back with CBB right after we hear from Adele Quo and another fantastic installment of
Fantastic.
It's Easy Being Green. And we'll have to do a take two on that? No, never mind.
You better be fantastic.
Here's Adele.
Fantastic,
that's a big
exactly.
tease.
This is a huge Fern issue of It's Easy Being Green. My name's Adele Quo. If you can't make the June 13th Fern Foray we mentioned last week's segment, well, you're in luck. There's another Walk Among Ferns at Scotts Run Nature Preserve with botanist Carl Taylor on Sunday, June 24th from 8:30 in the morning to 11 a.m. While it's still cool in the summer morning, renowned fern specialist Carl Taylor will identify about 18 or so native fern species from the common Christmas fern known as Polystichum aquatiscoides, that's a handful, to a less common rock polypody, that would be Polypodium virginianum. All Virginia Native Plant Society, that's VNPS programs, are free and open to the public. Please register to attend. That would be this very long website. I will try to read it carefully here. www.z2systems.com. But go ahead and query this fern walk, and it should come up. Our Virginia native ferns are often overlooked when planning or designing for gardens since they don't produce flowers or seeds or fruit, or they don't offer pretty winter bark. They are a staple of our shade gardens. They all look kind of similar. Almost all are described as some shade of green, and the majority of them are deciduous. Yet ferns have been around for more than 300 million years. In prehistoric times, when the dinosaurs roamed, the ferns were a dominant part of the vegetation, and they have survived and adapted to a changing climate. Contrary to popular belief, ferns can live anywhere, from rich and moist shady woodlands to a dry crevice in a cliff face. Some ferns are only a few inches tall. Others offer height and drama. You can create a fern garden using only our native ferns and still have lots of diversity of texture, growth or swirl patterns, and some color. Joe Tree Frog, who's missing right now, his top 4 Virginia native fiddlehead favorites to try in your garden are based on our personal success stories. The first one is Dryopteris marginalis, or marginal wood fern. After they're established, it can become a very drought-tolerant evergreen fern that's often found in the wild, growing on those rock walls and slopes. Next, number 2, Dryopteris goldiana. That's Goldie's fern, also known as giant wood fern. It can get to 4 feet tall. This one is great to fill in the back of the bed. And number 3, Anthurium filix femina, lady fern. This is the quintessential woodland garden fern with a delicate, lacy, and graceful appearance of feathery fronds that blend well with other native perennials and one of the easiest ones to grow. And our 4th one, Polystichum acrosticoides. That's the Christmas fern. Whoa. Yeah, that's the one that kind of jumps around on your tongue there. This evergreen Christmas fern is trouble-free and tolerant of dry to wet soils in the shade garden where it's difficult to grow anything else. It makes a nice accent plant due to its coarser texture. So remember, it's easy being green, enjoying our native ferns in our natural landscapes and in our gardens.
Ferntastic.
Fantastic.
Yes,
Ferntastic.
and where do we think Joe is?
He's on
As you hit your head
assignment
there, I
in
saw
Fern Valley.
We might be making new fronds, as we say.
Making new fronds. Having fern, making new fronds. I like Polypodium virginianum.
Yes, a
Wow.
cute little one.
That's a little bit easier to say
Ooh,
than
you've
some
been
of these.
practicing your scientific
Polypodium
names.
virginianum. That's good.
Very
Ferns are great.
impressive.
They've been around a long time, and they'll probably keep on going after we're all
keep
gone.
on.
Okay, we got to keep moving along now. Speaking of moving along, here we go with our CBB, Community Bulletin Board to file. Our Revolution Arlington will be hosting a town hall meeting coming up on Amazon HQ2 bid. The HQ2 bid refers to the potential establishment of a secondary headquarters for Amazon.com and the local concessions being offered to encourage the company to locate here in Arlington. The event will provide an opportunity for members of the community and local organizations to express their questions and concerns about the HQ2 bid. Greg Leroy, Executive Director of Good Jobs First, will speak on whether HQ2 will be helpful or harmful to Arlington. Members of Our Revolution Arlington will also give a presentation on how a community wealth building program can provide a stronger economic and socially just future for Arlington. That's coming up on Thursday, June 21, from 7 to 9 in the PM portion of the day in the auditorium at Arlington Central Library. They're located at 1015 North Quincy Street. If you are interested in speaking or a member of an organization that would like to speak, please email them at the information on your screen there. And it is Our Revolution Arlington, all one word, at gmail.com. Next up is Daniel.
Thank you, Craig. 5 Wishes is a special kind of living will that addresses your personal, emotional, and spiritual needs in addition to your medical wishes. You can use it to choose the person who will make your health care decisions if you are unable to do so. You can also express your preferences for what kind of care you want or don't want, how you want people to treat you, and anything else you want your family to know. The presentation will all take place on Friday, that's June the 15th, from 1 to 2 p.m. at the Aurora Hills Community and Senior Center located at 735 18th Street South. For more information, call Michelle Acton at 703-228-5722. That's 703-228-5722.
And Daniel, also in our CBB file, well, people who enjoyed Charlie Clark's Hidden History of Arlington might want to check out this next event. It's an evening with Atlas Obscura Society. They like to unfold secret histories and discover overlooked places in Arlington and the metro area. Come and learn about this adventuring society and some of the hidden gems that may be closer than you think. That's coming up on Tuesday, June 19, from 7 to 8:30 in the PM at Columbia Pike Branch Library, 816 South Walter Reed Drive. Contact information should be on your screen there. Daniel.
In the PM, right?
In the PM portion of the day.
Well, Craig, finally in CBB, here's something for kids from kindergarten to grade 5. It's called Building Block Mania, and it's all about Legos. Legos, and yes, Craig, even more Legos. Parents, take note, there's more to this than you might think. Here's a little sample from Lego artist Sean Kenny. The Legos will be provided on Thursday, June the 14th from 4 to 5 p.m. at the Columbia Pike Branch Library. That's located at 816 South Walter Reed Drive. And the kids will provide the imagination. The imagination machine.
The imagination station. All right, Daniel, we'll be back with our news for seniors after a little roll-in and some information on the Wear Orange rally. Check it out.
There were extensive preparations for last Friday's Wear Orange rally to prevent gun violence. The posters were ready. The desktop signs were ready. The public address system was ready. Even the giveaway buttons were ready. But was the public ready? Yes, they came. There was a wide variety of attendees. They heard a presentation by Beth Fine of Moms Demand Action. They heard a poem by Catherine Young, Arlington's poet laureate.
First, she'll write the necessary poem for the hands that spanned and jammed her throat, that pinned her to the bathroom floor, for the second marriage stillborn, for the home, the child long gone. Grit of her hurt sealed off in sack, nacreous like the handle of the gun found hidden in her own mother's drawer.
Barbara Cannonen from the Arlington School Board also spoke, as did Christian Dorsey, Vice Chair of the Arlington County Board. The last featured speaker was Virginia State Delegate Patrick Hope.
When we hear on the news another Columbine, we all collectively say enough, right? Join me. When we hear on the news a Sandy Hook, we say enough. When we hear on the news a Las Vegas or some other mass shooting like Orlando, we say enough. When the NRA lies and says that the only thing that we want to do is repeal the Second Amendment, we say enough. When the NRA pays millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to buy a president, to buy a Congress, and to buy state legislatures across the country, we say enough. And this is probably one of the biggest lies of all, and this will go down in history as the biggest lies. When the NRA and the Citizens Defense League says guns save lives, we don't just say enough, we call BS.
Yes, they came, and they saw, and they cheered together.
All right, some good information there on the Wear Orange rally, and that's important,
cool,
something important that we probably should all be involved in.
Very important.
All right, here we go now. As promised, our CBB. No, we did CBB. This must be news for seniors.
Wear your glasses,
Warren
Wear your
Grant.
glasses.
Oh,
Read
there
the
we go.
prompter.
Much better now. Warren Grant of Arlington County's Fleet Services Division will discuss how to maintain a car safely and cost effectively. He will also discuss the basics of automotive maintenance. Mr. Gant will be on hand Tuesday, June 12 at 10 in the morning at Walter Reed Community and Senior Center and Park, 2909 16th Street South. For more information and to register, call them at the number on your screen there and in your ear now, 703-228-0955. Daniel.
Well, Craig, the history of quilts is as varied and rich as is America. Quilts are not only used for warmth in bed, but some quilts can help provide, or rather promote, awareness of a cause, and some are also used as wall hangings for insulation as well as decoration. Quilt enthusiast Lynn McCracken will explain how quilting has changed and show samples of modern-day quilts. The presentation will all take place on Wednesday, that's June the 13th at 10:30 a.m. at the Lee Community and Senior Center and Park, located at 5722, that's in Lee Highway. For more information and to register, give her a call at 703-228-0555.
And Daniel, also in news for seniors, well, are you prepared for a home emergency, such as a burst pipe, power outage, or even worse, a tree falling on your house? Join Bill Copeland from Home Depot to hear tips on how to keep safe in your home. That's coming up Thursday, June 14 at 10 in the morning at Walter Reed Community Senior Center and Park, 2909 16th Street South. For more information and to register, give them a call at the number on your screen and also in your ear now, 703-228-0955. Daniel.
Well, Greg, in case you missed it back on May the 5th, Ranger Kevin Patty from the National Park Service will lead a group of seniors on another 2-mile hike from Fort Ethan Allen to Fort Marcy. Ranger Patty will point out the vestiges of earthworks and foundations of defensive forts built during the Civil War. The hike will follow an unpaved trail and includes a stream crossing and hills. The group will leave on Friday, June the 15th at 9:30 a.m. from the Madison Community Center located at 3829 North Stafford Street. To register, give them a call at 703-228-4878. And of course, thanks to Judy Masomny for this week's Senior Stories. She worked so hard and so dedicated.
We appreciate it. Thanks, Judy. All right, we'll be back for bye-bye and sign off right after we hear from our Styrofoam mom. Here's Miriam Gennari.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Sustainable Scoop. Just the other day, a friend sent me an article in the mail warning me about the terrible effects of straws. She knows I'm loath to the single-use economy, but I knew that I was going to have my guest today, Alex Garcia. She is with Eco Action Arlington, and she is heading up the Straw Free campaign just in time.
Just in time.
Tell me, how did straws become the issue of the day?
Well, it started really about 5 years ago out on the West Coast, and there was a video of a turtle with a straw up its nose that went viral, and it spurred a lot of groups and a lot of action around the United States and around the world to approach the straw issue head on, and I feel like it's time for Arlington to do the same and join the movement.
How long do we actually possess a straw?
The average straw that is used for less than 20 minutes, but lives forever, hundreds of years in dumps or wherever they end up, on the beaches, in the oceans. They're very hard to recycle because they're small and they tend to fall through the cracks, so they're here forever.
And Eco Action Arlington, might I also mention, formerly Arlingtonians for a Clean Environment, saw this as an opportunity to raise awareness about useless plastic. And it's useless, right?
Absolutely. So Eco Action Arlington is doing a campaign this year, the 40th anniversary plastic challenge, to try to get us to go plastic free, or many of us to adopt more plastic free practices. And the Straw Free Arlington campaign is a part of that, though it will continue long beyond the challenge. It's a permanent program now of Eco Action Arlington, run by volunteers like myself.
Your volunteers are not just targeting society as a whole. You're going to walk into business and you're going to educate them so that businesses in Arlington can make these changes, and it'll benefit them.
The goal of the program is to not only educate the general public to walk into restaurants and say, please don't give me a straw, but to also directly target the restaurants, enroll them as official restaurant partners in Straw Free Arlington, and get them to start really thinking about their one-time use plastic and plastic straws practices. So we want them to go to a straw on demand policy at the very least, which will earn them one Arlington Straw Free star. If they move to items like paper straws or compostable straws, then on an on-demand basis they get 2 stars. And if they move to either completely no straws or straws like metal or bamboo that can be reused over and over again and washed and don't end up in our landfills and don't create any waste, that's a 3-star.
Eco Action has seen a tremendous influx of volunteers that want to see businesses be part of this more sustainable economy. So you're going to spread the word and hopefully bring these businesses some recognition?
They're going to be posted on the program website. We will be promoting them at events like the Arlington County Fair. We will be telling people who take a straw-free pledge that these are the restaurants that we think they should patronize and approach and go to, and congratulate them on their straw-free policies.
And for citizens like myself that are all about eliminating single use, you've got some techniques that we can help get involved? We
are going to be looking for neighborhood ambassadors. If you are committed to it and want to approach restaurants in your neighborhood, the restaurants that you know and that they know you, and convince them to do this, that's great. On the website we are going to have, or we have, cards that you can print out and cut and then take in your wallet and deliver at the restaurant.
Very nice.
When they serve you a straw at the end, you can just slip it with your check and say, please give this to your manager. If many people start doing this, we will start really seeing a change in restaurants if they hear their customers asking for this. And we really encourage patrons to use social media, Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and call out the restaurants, recognize the restaurants that are doing a good job. And if you don't get a straw in your water or in your soda, put it out there.
Give them a thumbs up. I mean, just that little suggestion, that second thought about whether or not you need this straw could really change things.
We want restaurants to just flip the equation. don't assume that your customers want a straw. Assume they don't, because many, many don't. And if they do, they can ask for it, and then you can gladly serve them.
Well, this is fantastic. I'm so excited about this. Alex, how do people find out more about the program and get involved so they can help you?
Absolutely. So the website is ecoactionarlington.org. We will have a program page on the site, and there'll be information about the program itself for restaurants and for individuals, and how to pledge and how to become involved.
Wonderful. Well, I want to applaud Eco Action, and I want to thank you and your team for doing this. I look forward to hear the results, and I'm on the team. If you'd like to learn more about Arlington's Straw Free campaign, stay tuned for a short video on how to get involved.
Thousands of people are pledging every day to refuse the straw, but even after politely declining, it always seems to find its way into our classes. We realized that waitstaff operates purely on muscle memory, and the only way to nix the straw is to change policies from within. But how do you make that happen? Well, by appealing to the conscientious consumer base thriving right here in Arlington County, just a stone's throw from our nation's capital. In partnership with Eco Action Arlington, our community's leading environmental nonprofit, the Straw Free Arlington initiative will educate our restaurants and venues through volunteer ambassadors on the total costs of plastic straw use and ask them to take our pledge to go straw-free. Managers will sign up through our website committing to a certain level of strawlessness, either 1 star, 2 stars, or 3 stars. We even have some extra environmental incentives for them to take their environmental initiative to the next level. We encourage restaurants to continually expand their pledge to reach that 3-star glory. Visit us today to find out more.
I'm Miriam Gennari. Back to the news desk.
All right, thanks, Miriam, our styrofoam mom, and looking at straws.
Yeah.
Boy, who knew?
Get rid of them.
Better stop using those straws. Okay.
Get better, Craig.
Fundamentally speaking, the Fern Walk really sounds like fun. I hope the weather cooperates with them.
Yeah, me too. That's why I'm going to go on that morning one.
Probably a lot of those ferns grow in low-lying areas, so maybe, hopefully, those areas weren't flooded out, and the ferns survived that. Okay.
We'll get better. Hopefully we see you.
Thanks. Yeah, a little bug here, but we made it through another one.
We made it. No coughing attack?
That's it. So we better go while the getting's good here. Thanks for watching this edition of the Arlington Weekly News. Next week, if you're out there, we'll be here and we'll give it another shot. Take care. Have a safe week.
Don't forget
Bye-bye.
your dads.
Say hi to Dad for us. Happy Father's Day.